Hey, my name is Roberto Serrini. I am a commercial film director. Besides being a director, I'm also an editor, and sometimes I'm also the colorist. And in this case, we had a very special project with Indian Motorcycles, and I'm going to show you how we graded a campaign using Dehancer. It's amazing. Come along. The beginning of the film opens up as a period piece set in the 1930s, so it needed a very specific look, and for that, I had to go to Dehancer. Installing the program is super simple. Much like any other plugin, it works directly in Premiere Pro, but does not use a ton of resources, which is something that I really appreciate. I can take this project with me anywhere, work off an external drive, and be able to grade professionally anywhere in the world, which is a huge bonus. So this is how we started. This is raw footage from our Arri Alexa Mini, shot by Dan Dunn, who's a tremendous cinematographer. And this is how we went from this to this, and really very quickly. Okay, so we're just gonna drop Dehancer right on the footage, and immediately you see something change. You start basically in the input. In this case, I'm gonna do choose camera, Arri, Alexa Mini, and log C. You have all your basic sliders here, your exposure, your temperature, your tint, defringe, which will help control chromatic abrasion if you have any. Next up is your film look. You have dozens of different types of film profiles here, and this is where Dehancer really shines. I spend most of my time here, really just playing, going over the different looks. This is, to me, the most important step. But for this particular project, I'm going to go with the Kodak Vision 3 50D. You can push or pull the exposure of film in the development process, basically allowing it to feel like you've given it more light or less light, which is amazing. Jumping down into the film developer tools, you're going to see a bunch of great controls here. You have contrast boost, gamma correction, and color separation. Now, color separation is interesting because it basically is going to desaturate the most intense colors of the film. It can definitely give your film a much more cinematic look. The next tool that I love is film compression. Basically here you can save your highlights, and you can see how this immediately allows the clouds and the skies in this shot to be brought back so that you're getting full detail. And here's where it gets really wild. In the print section, this is going to emulate what it's like to print back to film. When you're using film, you're basically correcting it on a digital platform and then you're printing it back to film. This is something that you're going to play with. Just one more tool that allows you to tweak the absolute perfect picture for your final product. Film grain is a fabulous tool. All digital cameras, including high-end professional cameras like the Arri, provide a very clean signal, which is fantastic. But adding a little bit of film grain definitely adds character to the film and gives you a much more cinematic look at the end. Next tool down is halation. Halation is basically the blooming of the red. It is an ethereal look. It is very specific. Bloom is going to basically soften the image in the highlights, adding a little bit of decontrast. Film damage is just that. It'll add hair, scratch marks. It'll make it look like the film has been aged and poorly kept over time. In this case, we want the film to look pristine as if it was shot yesterday, but just in a vintage way. So we're going to hold back on the damage. Overscan is another great tool. Basically, it's going to create a frame around your footage. So if you want a specific aspect ratio, or you want to emulate that you're shooting on a specific film type, be it full frame 35, half frame 16mm, 4:3, whatever, this is where you would find that tool. In our case, again, we're going to keep it full frame 16:9 because this is going to broadcast. Vignette, basically darkening the edges of the frame. Monitor is being able to monitor the false color or any clipping information, making sure that you're within gamut for your specific delivery specs. Output, total impact. This is where you can dial in how much of the effect that you created is going to be presented in the final image. I very often will pull this back just a little bit. I think it's a great way to blend these two together as if you're mixing a cocktail. So depending on how strong or how weak you want it, this is where you want to do that. LUT generator is a great tool. Say you have a look that you absolutely love, you can export a LUT, and then you can have that LUT across any platform that you can add to any camera, any footage, so that it's there ready to go. Once we have this shot, I'm going to copy this and apply it to the other clips, and that's going to be my starting point to dial in and really finesse the final results of each clip and image. Without a plugin like Dehancer, this process would have taken a lot longer, and we would have never made the deadline that was asked of us. I use Dehancer pretty much on every project in some fashion or another. It might just be the bloom effect, it might just be giving it a little bit more of a cinematic quality, emulating a film stock, but it's such a powerful tool, it is so fast, and it always delivers, and that's worth everything. So, hope that was an interesting little look into the behind the scenes of what goes into an actual commercial shoot and delivering an actual product, and yeah, I hope you have as much fun as I do playing with Dehancer. Take care.